Welcome inside another edition of the Com Radio NFL Draft Show. I'm TylerZulli. We begin today's show with the opening drive. Former Saints defensive end Will Smith was shot and killed late Saturday night in New Orleans following a traffic incident. According to city police, Smith's car was struck from behind by a Hummer being driven by 30-year-old Cardell Hayes. Smith and Hayes reportedly exchanged words before Hayes revealed a gun and shot Smith multiple times. Smith's wife, Raquel, was also shot twice in the leg. The former first-round pick spent his entire 9-year career with the Saints, reaching one Pro Bowl and winning a Super Bowl with the team back in 2009. Smith was 34 years old. The off-the-field woes continue for the former Cleveland Browns superstar Josh Gordon. NFL media insider Ian Rappaport reported Monday that Gordon has failed yet another drug test, putting his 2016 return to the Browns in jeopardy. The positive test showed traces of marijuana in dilute, possibly used by Gordon to mask his marijuana use. In February of 2015, Gordon was suspended the entire season without pay after violating the league's substance abuse policy. That offense came after serving a 2-game suspension for similar misconduct. Shortly after the news broke, Gordon himself took to Twitter to express his lack of interest, saying, "Call me if you really have a story worth writing." Staying in the northeast region of the country, as the New York Jets have seemingly found their replacement for DeBrickashaw Ferguson. The team struck a deal with the Denver Broncos Monday to acquire offensive tackle Ryan Clady, as well as a 7th-round pick in exchange for a 5th-round selection. The 29-year-old lineman became expendable when the Broncos signed former Seahawks tackle Russell Okung last month. Clady will have 1 year remaining on his contract after adjusting his salary to facilitate the trade for the Jets, who are pressed up against the cap. Clady is set to make roughly $6 million, $3 million of which is guaranteed. Continuing on the offensive side of the ball, Cal quarterback Jared Goff is set to visit the Saints, Eagles, Jets, and 49ers this week as the draft inches closer. Goff projects to be a top 10 pick at the end of this month, and teams are taking one final look at the prospect before he heads to Chicago. The 49ers, who picked 7th in this year's draft, seemingly desperate to move on from Colin Kaepernick, have the best shot at taking Goff out of the 4 teams mentioned earlier. The Eagles are just 1 pick behind their former coach, sitting in the 8th spot. The Jets are reportedly still in negotiations with free agent Ryan Fitzpatrick, but there is still no timetable for when a deal could be struck. They picked 20th overall. And the Saints may have to make a move and trade up from the 12th spot to acquire Goff, as they look to find a future quarterback to eventually replace Drew Brees. And with that, we stay within the conference that made Jared Goff famous and welcome in analysts Jack Molesky and Brandon Pelter to break down the Pac-12 conference. While the surrounding area seems to have evolved throughout the years, one local State College restaurant has stood the test of time. Located on the corner of College Avenue and Allen Street, and overshadowed by the State College Christmas tree, the Corner Room has been a staple in the State College community since 1926. Originally constructed as the Hotel State College, the Corner Room has proved to be a regular meeting location for residents and students alike. With its massive menu and recognizable entrance, it's no wonder that this restaurant has been so wildly popular over the course of its existence. Even with a marquee location on College Avenue and a beautiful view of Penn State's campus, the Corner Room has been able to keep customers coming back for almost 90 years because of its fantastic cast and crew and a homey atmosphere. Immediately as you walk in the front door, you are welcomed by a rustic yet warming scenery that provides customers that feeling of home. With comfortable seating and old-school entrees, patrons feel like they're in mom's kitchen.
It's got a nice feeling of home, and we've got comfort food, whether it's like a hot turkey sandwich, it reminds people of home cooking. It's not just all fast food type of dishes. So,
aside from the food, a great deal of interest can be found in the Corner Room's heritage. As you walk through the corridors steeped in tradition, old memorabilia is available to reflect on past memories. One such memory can be found in the Corner Room's very own staff. Emma Gunselis has been part of the Corner Room staff for 57 years as a waitress and a hostess. This walking storybook dove into why she stayed at one job for so long.
There's not too many people that ever would make complaint about the Corner Room. That's their home, away from home. That's my home, away from home.
Whether you're a newcomer or a Corner Room veteran, one thing is certain. When you exit through the famous revolving doors, you will definitely be coming back to your home away from home. Reporting in State College, I'm TylerZulli. Welcome back into the Com Radio NFL Draft Show. We're here at the big board. Last week, we broke down second-team All-American running back Ezekiel Elliott. This week, let's flip the field, go to that first-team All-American team, and look at defensive back Jalen Ramsey from Florida State. It's a guy that can play both the cornerback and the safety position on the field, which transitions well to the next level. He had 181 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. He plays that ball hawk. He can also creep up at the line and play the line of scrimmage almost like a defensive end. So let's take a look at the video on what Jalen Ramsey does well, some things he doesn't do so well, and then, of course, we'll finish with 3 teams that I feel are great fits for Jalen Ramsey in the first round of this year's NFL Draft. First of all, I'd like to point out, number 8 is Jalen Ramsey right here. What's he doing at the line of scrimmage as soon as the play begins? Well, I'll tell you what he's doing at the line of scrimmage. He's a kind of guy that can make plays in the backfield as a safety creeping up at the line, playing almost like a 5th defensive lineman. He's so good. Let's roll the tape right here. He's so good at getting into the backfield and causing disruptions, making plays. You see, he's able to get to Watson and make the play as a safety, creeping all the way up to the line of scrimmage and making a play as if he were a defensive lineman. Now let's take a look at this play right here. Not only can he creep up at the line and make plays, use his strength, but he can also make tackles as well. You'll see it against Texas State and there against Duke. He's able to close out and make plays on the wide receiver. In this case, the running back who becomes a receiver for Duke, he's able to close out quickly and make that play, and he wraps up so fantastically well. Now let's take a look once again here in this Nevada play. Not only does he wrap up well, but his straight line speed is absolutely fantastic. You're going to see as the Nevada receiver catches the ball, Jalen Ramsey takes 4, maybe 5 steps, and he's already closed out on his target, wrapped him up pretty well, and thrown him to the turf. He's not going to give up second chance opportunities, which is why he could play safety as well as corner, because he simply hits so well. Now let's take a look at this play against NC State. We talked about how he can creep up at the line and play the pass. He could creep up at the line and play the run as well, because you just saw it right there. He's able to get into the backfield and make offensive tackles, much bigger, much slower offensive tackles, make them look almost foolish because he's able to get around them so quickly with his incredible mixture of speed and athleticism that gets him into the backfield, and then he uses that strength to hammer the running back home. Let's take a look at it. Of course, we can say he is a guy that tackles well, but does he cover well? Here you're going to see Brad Kaya. He's able to step in front of the Kaya pass by using his eyes, keeping his eyes downfield and at the quarterback the whole way. He jumps the route, cuts in front of the receiver, and then makes the play on Brad Kaya, who you're going to see featured quite a bit in this one because Jalen Ramsey made him look pretty silly in the 2 matchups that he had against Kaya and Miami. You'll see it here against North Texas. Even when he gets beat, there's a couple of times he gets beat and he's able to get back. He uses that straight line speed. He uses that ability to get back on his heels and still make the play. He's able to get back and beat the North Texas receiver to the ball. That's one of those big exclamation points for Jalen Ramsey. A lot of guys have question marks in that area. I like to call him having an exclamation point because he's able to use his straight line speed and his athletic ability to make plays even when he's beat on a receiver. You'll see it here once again against Florida. He's going to get beat initially, but look as he's able to, as he comes into the picture, get back and make the play. You'll see it again. Look how far behind the receiver he is when that play begins. But he's able to use his speed and athleticism to get back to the ball, track it down, and then he uses that freakish athleticism to make the diving effort and intercept the pass. Not only break it up, but intercept the pass on that play. So let's take a look at this play. Once again, you'll see Miami. Brad Kaya again, another throw from the quarterback. This one's completed, but Jalen Ramsey does a good job staying with his man and ripping that ball right out. You'll see it on a closer angle. He's able to stay with his man, stay connected with his man, and then rip that ball out using nothing but his pure strength and athleticism. You'll see one more thing that Jalen Ramsey does well, and I've talked about it over and over again in this breakdown, the straight line speed. Let's run this combine. A 4.48 straight line speed, but what's more important, take a look right there in that top left corner of the screen. He tops out at 23.8 miles per hour, nearly 24 miles an hour on his 40 time. That's the kind of speed that you're looking for in not only a first-round cornerback, but a top 10 cornerback. And Jalen Ramsey can play both cornerback and safety. That's just an added bonus for most NFL teams, especially those teams within the top 10 picks. Jalen Ramsey is a guy that does a ton well He's able to creep up at the line and play both the run and the pass. He makes up for any errors with his straight line speed and athleticism. But of course, just like every NFL hopeful, every draft product, he has some things that he certainly needs to work on at the next level. The first one being this right here. Let's run this tape on Jalen Ramsey against Auburn. He makes this hit so close to the sideline, almost dangerously close to the sideline, and he lowers the shoulder well. But at the next level, guys are going to be bigger, faster, and more physical, these NFL receivers. If he's not able to adjust at the next level, he's going to start leading with the crown of his helmet and drawing a ton of penalties. The NFL is really no nonsense anymore about these personal foul penalties, especially on defenseless receivers like that Auburn receiver was right there. Second thing that he doesn't do too well, he's going to shed his block off his receiver from the Citadel in this play. If you can run the tape right here, he sheds his block, but he doesn't wrap up well, and when he doesn't wrap up well, which is infrequently, he likes to slam receivers and running backs to the turf. Again, a guy like that is going to draw penalties with the physical play, just the nature of his play. You draw a ton of penalties for personal fouls. One more thing that we don't show on the tape that he kind of has to work on at the second level, and all three of these revolve around drawing penalties and picking up personal fouls. He's a little bit of a showboat. He needs to become a little bit of a cooler head at the NFL level because he will draw personal fouls that way as well. So we've seen some things that Jalen Ramsey does well, some things that he'll need to improve on at the next level. Now let's finish up with three teams that are potential fits for Jalen Ramsey in the 2016 NFL Draft. Let's start with the Tennessee Titans with the #1 overall pick. The Titans need secondary help after the departure of Michael Griffin to the Minnesota Vikings. Cody Sensabaugh also leaves. He's now with the Rams in L.A. The Titans desperately need secondary help with a guy that can play multiple positions in Jalen Ramsey. Of course, that need maybe picked up a little bit lower on the Tennessee Titans draft board because of the fact that they need an offensive tackle, and Laramie Tunsil seems to be the guy that is the consensus #1 overall pick in this year's draft. But if the Titans go defense, it will be nobody but Jalen Ramsey with the #1 overall pick. Let's move to the #5 pick with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars will effectively be getting 2 rookies coming in this 2016 season because of the fact that Dante Fowler didn't play at all last year due to injury. He'll be coming into his quote-unquote rookie year. You may want to pick up another defensive splash in this 2016 pick with Jalen Ramsey. Now, of course, they have a couple of guys that they're looking at highly, maybe Miles Jack or Joey Bosa as well, if either of them slip past the Dallas Cowboys at 4. But I think Jalen Ramsey would be a great fit. Maybe go back to the days of the mid-2000s when the team had guys like Gerald Sensabaugh, Rasheed Mathis, Drayton Florence, and they were kind of a problem in the AFC South, even for quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, and that's what made the Jaguars successful in the mid-2000s. But the team that I think is the best fit for this kid out of Florida State is the San Diego Chargers with the #3 overall pick. Simply a perfect fit for the Chargers. Eric Weddle gone. He is no longer a San Diego Charger. It's a team as a defense that gave up 44 passing touchdowns last year and nearly 4,000 passing yards. He's a fit at #3 because of his athleticism. He has the ability, like we said many times, to play both safety and cornerback. He could shuffle right into that San Diego secondary that was fairly lacking last year and step right in and be an immediate impact. So if Jalen Ramsey is there at 3, if the Titans don't take him with the #1 overall pick, I think the San Diego Chargers are a perfect fit for Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey, more importantly, is a perfect fit for the San Diego Chargers. That'll do it from this big board right here. Jalen Ramsey, a San Diego Charger, perhaps in April. We'll send it back to the desk with Jeff for more on the NFL Draft.
Last season, the Penn State men's ice hockey team achieved a remarkable feat for such a young program. For just 1 week, the 2014-15 Lions held a national rank for the first time in program history. On Thursday, however, the Nittany Lions welcomed the 16th best team in the country to Hockey Valley for a chance at reestablishing its dominance in collegiate hockey and earning a rank for the second time in program history. As the lights faded to black, electricity filled the air inside Pagula Ice Arena. The St. Lawrence Saints were greeted by college hockey's most intimidating student section, the Roar Zone. Head coach Guy Godowski has always stressed the importance of a quality start, and that is precisely what the Nittany Lions had in store. Immediately following the opening faceoff, the Nittany Lions offense was clicking and established a heavy offensive presence. Just under 5 minutes into the game, freshman right wing Alec Marsh had a great opportunity and was able to put the Lions on the board first with a wraparound goal. However, things turned south for the Lions following a slew of penalties that gave the Saints an opportunity to strike back and tie the game. Luckily for Penn State senior goaltender Matthew Scoff stood tall between the pipes as the Saints brought on an offensive onslaught in the second period. As time ticked away, the two teams would trade off goals and ultimately find themselves tied entering an overtime period. The 5 minutes that followed had the potential to give the Lions a spot amongst the top 20 teams in the country. Unfortunately for either side, the overtime period ended without a deciding goal.
Despite an essentially neutral outcome to this monumental game, Guy Gadowski and the rest of the Nittany Lions are confident in their play and are looking forward to more of these crucial games as the season progresses.
Well, it sure felt like a hockey game, I'll tell you that. And even right from the first period, I thought we had a very good period. We were on the power play a few times, and so we had more shots and more offensive opportunities, but they were coming hard. Like, we knew we were in a hockey game right away, and that's fun. I thought it was a great game. I thought we had a lot of excellent opportunities. We had 52 shots on net, 103 attempts. I thought we had, we generated transition as well. We had, I believe, 9 or 10 odd man rushes. So there's not a lot that we're disappointed in.
Even though the Nittany Lions could not come away with a win, they'll get a chance at redemption as they leave the comfort of Pagula and head to Niagara to take on the Purple Eagles this coming weekend. Reporting from State College, I'm TylerZulli.